Were Dick Dastardly and Muttley, when they were trying to catch that pigeon, working for the Nazis? Thanks for coming back after that starting statement. But I'm starting to think that Dick Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines had a real dark side to it. I mean, especially for a kids' show. You see, in the show, Dick Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines are trying to stop Yankee Doodle, an American carrier pigeon, from carrying messages during a war. We know there is a war on because it's a general who orders Dastardly about and tells him to stop Doodle and strangles him through the phone when he fails to catch the pigeon. But what war is this? Is this World War I that this is all happening? You would think so, given the style of planes that are used. However, there are reasons to think this is actually all happening during World War II, and Dastardly, it turns out, is far worse than we could ever have imagined. Because he's working for the Nazis. Why am I laughing? Let's start with the clues. Side note, from now on I'm going to refer to the show as Catch the Pigeon, because saying Dick Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines over and over might just suck all the oxygen out of this room, and I need that to breathe. Catch the Pigeon is a spin-off from the Wacky Races TV show, where Dick Dastardly and Muttley first featured, so therefore Catch the Pigeon takes place after that. Also, the Wikipedia article says this happened after the Wacky Races. Therefore, Dick Dastardly didn't try to catch the pigeon in World War I and then start racing post-war. He raced from 1918 to around about 1944 and then fought for the Nazis. But how do we know that Wacky Races is set post-World War I and not pre-World War I? Therefore letting Dastardly off the hook for just serving the Kaiser, not the Nazis? Well, that's historically debatable. It is the position of this show that it doesn't let him off the hook. Wacky Races is clearly shown to be post-World War I, however. In Wacky Races, we have this character, Penelope Pitstop, who drives in a 1930s racing costume, hinting that Wacky Races is post-World War I. You also have Red Max, a former flying ace in the style of Manfred von Richthofen, maybe racing after his service in World War I was over. And then there's the Ant Hill Mob, classic sort of gangster look to them from the Prohibition era, which is happening after World War I as well. And then perhaps one of the strongest pieces of evidence is this character, Clunk. Clearly a man suffering from the trauma of war, probably shell shock when you consider all the whistles and bangs that he makes.
When a little pepper at the pigeon, and when a achoo, we move back now. The missile we.
What have you seen, Clunk? Go retire. Get some help. So Wacky Races is post-World War I. So if Dastardly is trying to catch a pigeon during a war, using European planes and that sort of vague aesthetic and setting, then there's only one war this could be. It's World War II. Also, now we have to sort of address the fact that the planes Dastardly uses are of the World War I era, I think that's fair to say. Which you might think proves my theory wrong. However, if you think about it, a mercenary outfit like Dick Dastardly's, because they're not official soldiers, are they? They're definitely mercenaries. They're not going to have access to the creme de la creme of planes in the World War II era. They would need to go buy surplus planes that no one else is using. World War I surplus planes, which they can heavily modify. So this could only have been happening during World War II. There's no other war it could be. And we know that America used carrier pigeons during World War I, Yankee Doodle being one. This must be taking place after the D-Day invasion, when Americans fought in Europe and would need to send carrier pigeons. So if Catch the Pigeon, Dastardly is trying to stop a carrier pigeon from delivering messages during a war, and given all the evidence I presented, that must mean it's World War II. It's undeniable at this point, and I would not accept anyone denying it in the comments. And there's a general giving him orders. I think we know who the ultimate superior of this general is. That's dark, man. I never knew just how dark Catch the Pigeon truly was. Like, Dick Dastardly is ultimately working for Hitler. After failing to catch the pigeon, like, what did Dick Dastardly do after the war? Because does he appear in any other TV shows after this? I don't think he does. Maybe he escaped to Argentina to try and avoid all those war crimes he committed. Maybe got there with some Nazi gold. If this is true, and I've proved that it is, then it puts a different slant on Muttley's sniggers, doesn't it? I mean, what's he got to laugh about? Side note, again, Muttley has a preoccupation during the show with getting medals for every little thing, for like really mundane things too. Do you think post-war he displayed those medals? Medals he didn't earn? That's stolen valour, Muttley. Third side note, Zilly, another character who worked for Dick Dastardly, was very panicky. He was a translator for Clunk, and he was clearly trying to get away from this outfit, you know? Maybe he knew the war was over, or coming to an end, and he wanted to get away before the Allies swept over their position. He knew he couldn't weasel his way out of any war crime charges by saying he was just following orders. Well, there you go. Catch the Pigeon was way darker than you ever thought. Moustache twirling villains are worse than you think. This was my darkest video. It was worse than when that monster trapped me in a picture. Have a good morning, afternoon and evening wherever you are in the world, if you can, because I'm not.